I was going to make this video earlier. I'm glad I waited because this development that happened. Rick Scott, former governor, now senator, and Senator Marco Rubio, both of Florida, stated that the reason why the unemployment numbers are so high is because people are just getting unemployment checks, particularly with the coronavirus bill, instead of going to work. Now, when you look at the math of what the federal government has added to unemployment in addition to whatever unemployment may be in the various states, at the end of the day, all this means is that with these checks that people are going to be getting for a time, that the government is paying people more than the private sector is. So we have here the Republican Party, the so-called free market economy party, but the government is more competitive when it comes to workers and labor than these private sector companies. I don't fault the government for this. I don't fault Congress or the Democrats. I fault this on the private sector. Okay, depending on what state you live in, some people could be getting $25 an hour, if not more, and for working adults, that's what a working adult minimum wage should be. It should be anywhere from $22 to $25 an hour if we really had a fair economy and if workers and labor were taken care of adequately. But instead you have these greedy corporations and politicians who just protect the rich and protect big businesses and don't do anything for the people. So I'm not mad at the people if you are just getting a check and not working for this time. You know, I mean, if you're going to get more money from the government than you're going to get from the private sector, I would take advantage also. But I will say this. Now, this is only going to be temporary. The coronavirus unemployment is, in general, unemployment is for 39 weeks. The additional $600 per week is only for 8 weeks. So for the extra $600, you only have about 2 months, and for the regular extended unemployment, you have about 3/4 of the year. And I feel that depending on, once again, how unemployment is in your state, I feel most people would be taking advantage of the $600 for the 8 weeks, and then only certain people would maybe be able to take advantage of the regular unemployment that will be going on for 39 weeks. If not shorter. Once again, it all depends on what your situation is and what state you live in. So to the message to all the people who may be taking advantage right now, use this time, whether it's 8 weeks or longer, use this time wisely. Don't blow the money. Don't spend the money. Now is the time to do a reset, especially if basically this unemployment stimulus money is a pay increase for you in the short term, okay? Use this money wisely. It's time to reset, and it's time to reevaluate and recalculate and change your spending habits, your behavior, your lifestyle. If you have any debt, any bills, get out of debt. Credit card, whatever case that it may be, if you can use this money to get rid of that debt, get rid of that debt. If you need to just pay some bills, pay your bills. Don't spend more than what you absolutely need. Don't go into debt during this time. Don't blow your money on frivolous things. You know, I was at a Walmart and, you know, they're hauling out TVs on pallets. I mean, I guess they could be doing that any time of the year. I don't really shop at Walmart that much, but, you know, they're just throwing these TVs off the shelf. I'm not worried about any electronics or anything like that unless I'm using it for a startup business project that I've been working on for the past few months, okay? If you're trying to get a business started, this money could be seed money, because even now, previously, self-employed people, entrepreneurs, didn't qualify for unemployment previously. Certain entrepreneurs may be able to qualify for some of this money with the coronavirus bill. So if you have been working on a startup business, if you've been trying to expand your business, okay, this might be a little bit of a boost to your business endeavor using this unemployment money, okay? So if you're going to put it in the stock market, now unfortunately when the checks really started coming in, the stock market had already rebounded from the all-time low, or well, not all-time lows, but from the bottom, from the trough of the hit that the stock market took because of the fear and the panic with coronavirus. So the value right now isn't the same as what the value would have been, let's say, about maybe a couple of months ago. Okay, that was really the time to buy. Now that it's gone up, you know, there's still value that's there, but you're not going to get as great of a value, as great of a return on your investment if you're looking at your average price per share for whatever particular stock, ETF, ETN, or if you're doing mutual funds, whatever it is you're investing into. Maybe, well, I'll just leave it at that. Whatever it is you're investing into, the value certainly isn't there what it used to be a couple of months ago, but there's still some value that's there. Okay. So use that money wisely. Pay off debt, pay your bills, make your living expenses and your living costs as low as possible. If you need to move into a smaller apartment, now's the time to do it. Especially with the local housing market, some of these you might have a greater inventory in rental properties, apartments, maybe some homes, condos, whatever the case may be. If you're maybe in a position to get into a smaller house or to refinance, whatever the situation may be, with these interest rates being cut down to emergency level 0, do that. Keep your living expenses small. Now's the time to downsize. Now's the time to cut the expenditures. Now's the time to tighten that budget, okay? Keep those outflows as small as possible. Save your money. Stack your money. Pay off debt. Don't get into debt. If you have disposable income or savings, that's good. If you have extra money to invest, you know, whether if you're going to invest in real estate, or if you're investing into the stock market, or if you're starting or expanding your business, now is the time to do that. This coronavirus situation is a reset, and this unemployment, emergency unemployment, and 0 interest rates is going to be a great opportunity for a lot of people. As a quick side note, if Joe Biden gets elected, think of the things that Obama did. You know, when Mitt Romney criticized Obama, the freebies, quote unquote, like the housing rebate and stuff like that. Think of some of the things that Obama did to stimulate the middle class, upper middle class, and even a lot of wealthy people also. Okay? So, things like housing rebates and stuff like that you got during the Obama administration, you might get some things like that if Biden gets elected. Because I don't think you're going to get that out of Trump and the Republicans. But Biden, you may get some of those freebies that Mitt Romney criticized. But now he supports UBI. So I guess he was against it, now he's for it. So I guess anyone can change. Maybe Mitt Romney evolved. Okay? So now's the time for the reset. Especially if we get a new president, if there will be a change in policy, if there's a change particularly in the Senate, then that means that the policies can be very different. And some of those benefits that came out during the Obama era, you can now you can now parlay that with this coronavirus stimulus, you know, in a relatively short period of time. I mean, you may be talking about within a cycle of about 12 months, you may see two different waves of stimulus. The ones that we're seeing right now, the ones that we're seeing right now, and also the ones that we may see in the earlier part of 2021 if Joe Biden does defeat Donald Trump. So, not really going to get into the politics of that, but how elections affect policy, and those policies that could empower you, policies that allow you to take advantage of benefits that the government is giving out, you know, things that people were arguing for and demanding in the election. In moments like these, this is where you can get that. So I cannot stress this enough, okay? Use this, you know, you also have the Trump check, okay? If you got $1,200, if you maybe got a little bit less than that, some people got more than that. You know, if you're married, if you have children, if you have a bigger household, okay? So whatever amount of money that you got for this Trump check, okay? Take that Trump check, take any stimulus money, SBA loans, low interest rate loans, unemployment, extended emergency unemployment. Take all these benefits and use it to your advantage, okay? Keep your living costs low. Cut the fat, cut out everything you don't need. Just like the government has been talking about only essential jobs, only essential expenditures is what you should be focusing on. The minimum adequate and safe and decent housing, keep the food bill low. Don't be going out partying and stuff, all these, unnecessary purchases, discretionary spending, some people buying TVs and stuff like that. One woman was talking about she felt guilty about not spending the money in the economy because she wanted to help these businesses. You need to pay yourself first, okay? Now me, I pay my tithes, okay? And if you see the name on this channel, you should already know what I'm talking about. Definitely not the Sunday church and a jackleg, bootleg, pork chop pastor, okay? So I'm gonna give the Lord his 10%, but then after that, I'm gonna pay myself, okay? Screw the rest of the economy, okay? The Lord will get his cut, and then I'll pay myself the rest of that 90%. And now you put that money in the bank, or use that money and invest it into stock, or put that money into my business so I can move forward. And then if Biden wins, we'll see what policies we may get that can also be taken advantage of. Keep your expenses low. Keep your living costs low. Don't spend any extra money. Cut your expenditures. Pay off debt. Get out of debt. Don't get into debt. Don't buy a bunch of junk and gadgets and trinkets. Don't be going out, eating out just because the economy is opened up. Cut that cable bill. Cut that Netflix bill. Everybody's talking about streaming and stuff like that. I mean, personally, there's not a lot of quality programming on these streaming services. That $5.99, $7.99, $10 a month, whatever it is you're paying, you keep that money in your pocket. I'd rather buy a $7 stock, a $5 stock, or a $10 stock instead of giving my money to Hulu or Netflix or Disney Plus or one of these streaming services. So get your economies lined up, all right? And take this time, these 8 weeks, if not longer, take this time to put yourself in a position to hit the ground running with either a new job, or if you go back to your old job, if you can pick up some new skills and acquire some new skills within these 8 weeks or so, if you can get some vocational training or some kind of certification, especially in one of these fields that have been deemed as essential, okay? Self-learning and self-improvement, self-growth. You got 8 weeks, if not longer, depending on your situation, to work on those things. Or if you're furloughed or laid off, but you go back to work, and if you're making more money with this than you were making on your job, now this stimulus money has padded your savings account, padded your emergency fund, your rainy day fund, your just-in-case fund, and it'll give you some extra comfort. Okay, so I can't stress this enough. Use these finances to your advantages. Don't take this money and blow it. Save it and use it wisely, and put yourself in a position, if you're not working right now, to where you can get a better job, to where you can acquire skills, to where you can get some kind of education or some kind of certification or some kind of training or some networking, building connections. Use this time. Be productive during this time while a number of elements of the economy has been shut down and is shut down. Because basically, in a lot of ways, it brought things to a standstill, and you're going to hit the reset button, and now you're going to have to restart the economy. Okay? It's a disruptive force, but in disruptive forces like these, especially economically, there's opportunity for people to come up real fast. So position yourself as best as possible during this time and do what you need to do for yourself. Let the rest of these businesses and big corporations and the politicians, Let them worry about this other stuff. You don't need to put money into the economy to do your part. You need to do your part for yourself, for your household, for your family, for your people. That's your first priority. Charity begins at home, and it branches out from there. So take care of home first, and do what you need to do with the home base before you worry about anyone else. And if these policymakers are so great geniuses, then you let them find up the policies to help some of these other businesses and these other industries and these big corporations that are complaining about money. And I have no sympathy for these companies that were lowballing the workers, lowballing labor, and not paying them fair wages. A lot of this emergency unemployment money isn't even coming from the employer. The government is simply dishing it out. A lot of these employers aren't even having to contribute under this particular circumstance. So what should they care about if people are getting unemployment? They're not paying for it. And Rubio, and Rick Scott, and for the people who supported them, these are the policymakers you want. These are the people who you want to represent you. Forget both of them. Florida, I think you could do a lot better than this, but you also elected Ron DeSantis, so, you know, and you also elected the current occupant. I don't want to really get too political in this commentary, but, you know, recently Florida, your track record isn't all that great. And I personally wouldn't want to move to the state of Florida anytime soon unless there was some great business opportunities to be had. So forget the GOP, forget Rick Scott, forget little Marco Rubio, sweaty drinking water little Marco, forget them both. Workers are going to take care of themselves and take care of their family. It's time that the working people be heard and taken care of. It's time that labor demand a fair shake, because the big corporations get all kind of bailouts and all kind of socialism for big corporations, but the worker gets left behind.